Welcome to the UKBC, where budgies come first. Today, I'm just going to cover how I do show preparation. Now, if you've been watching me for long enough, you know that if something becomes a chore, I don't do it, or I don't do it properly. So I've managed to find a way to be able to prepare my birds suitably. I'm not saying they're perfect, no bird is, but with my job and family life, I have to get a balance. So what I've done is, you'll have seen these cages last time, and I hold my stock in there. I've pushed the hens into an empty cage at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the rest of the birds across. Okay, so what I've done is I've basically pushed all the birds across to an empty cage. On this side, they've got their seed and their bedding. There's usually 4 per cage. Middle one's only got 2. I haven't got anything else ready to sort of prepare, but that might change over the next few weeks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my little spray bottle, and in there is just a tiny little bit of baby shampoo, just a standard baby shampoo, and it is literally just a dash. I did actually start spraying a few weeks ago when I started with warm water, just to clean out any dirt or anything, but now I'm onto just cold water with a tiny little dash of the baby shampoo, but I will take that out in another couple of weeks, and then it will just be plain cold water. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray the birds. I don't do it right up close. I don't want to scare them. I don't want them damaging themselves in the cage. It's hard enough keeping flights and tails intact for the best of times. So I just give them a spray and I work my way down. Now, not all these birds are necessarily going to be ready for the show, the first show. But I will keep changing birds. I'll keep preparing different birds. And in the end, you just end up with birds ready for a show. I try not to get too disappointed if I can't take all the birds. I normally try and do 12 birds with looking to take maybe 10 to a show. Any more than that, and I'm going to really struggle. I know we haven't covered spotting out yet, but that will come, in the next couple of weeks. And I take my time with spotting. I never rush it. We all make mistakes, and last thing you want to do is spend all this time doing the birds and then mess up on spotting. So that is it, and I can do that at 7:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. I won't do it in the evening because I want them dry, ready for roosting. The worst thing you can do is give them a chill. So they're not absolutely sodden wet, but they are suitably wet that the water will start to run off them. And as you do this over the week, what you'll find is the water will take longer to penetrate the feathers. And you might even find that it goes into little balls and runs off the feathers. That's perfect, because that's all the oils coming out into the birds. Now, the one thing you see I've probably not done is started to try and handle these birds. You never handle a wet bird because feathers can fall out really easily. Once you have spotted a bird out, stop spraying heavily. It is just a light mist, just to keep those feathers moist, because the weight of the water can actually pull the spots out that you want to leave. But like I said, I'm going to cover spotting out on a different video. Now, one of these birds does actually need a little bit of a head wash. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and show you without stopping the video and all the rest of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to catch the bird up. So you can probably see he's just got a little bit of dirt, a little bit of blood from possibly a blood quill. So all I'm going to do is I have this time got some plain water. Just going to put a drop of baby shampoo, oh, I'm making a mess, never mind, into the water. And then I am just going to gently brush this in to the head. I'm staying well away from the eyes. I'm always working backwards. Okay. And what I don't want to do is, you can see all these pin feathers and they are red, or pink if you want. I don't want to damage those at all, or I'm going to ruin the bird for probably a good number of weeks. So I'm just gently peeling those over and just brushing it through. Keep rinsing the brush. And then now what I've got here is I've got fresh plain water, and I'm going to put that onto the bird's head and just rinse as much of that out as possible. Okay, and that will dry suitably in a few hours, and I can assess what the bird looks like later on. And it may need doing again, but like I say, hopefully this will be all done by the time I come to spotting out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, I would normally leave the birds as long as possible. Like I say, you're trying to do this before work. You know, you haven't got a lot of time, but these cages are all clean. They've got fresh seeding and everything. It is Saturday today, so I've done my deep clean. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to let them across, and they'll dry out naturally. But where I've sprayed them in this cage, that can dry during the day, and I can clean that when I get home tonight. But they go into a nice clean cage. Seed doesn't get all wet. I haven't got to worry about things going mouldy, and that is the way I do it. So we'll let them back across. I use my judging stick because it's an opportunity to train all the time. Come on. Come on. Come on, girls. Come on. Okay, you won't move because you're finger tame. Come on. Thank you. It's always one. So yeah, so like I've always said, keep it simple. Do the things you can do properly and do it well, and you should be able to show your birds at most shows. And these birds will hopefully you know, do maybe two shows, and then they'll go back in the flight for a rest, and I'll try and pull out some others. My babies are quite late this year. Well, they usually are, because I don't breed over winter. So my babies will come into the later shows, and hopefully there'll be one or two there. With the babies, it's much the same. You know, keep spraying. You might need to work on some pin feathers near the show, but you know, it's much the same. I don't change a lot, and I certainly don't get too worked up over not being able to show certain birds at certain shows. They're ready when they're ready. All right, super. And we'll cover spotting out and setting up show cages very soon. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.